Wanted to get your thoughts on what you see from the Ole Miss defense. Omega, if you wouldn't mind starting.
A great group, plays hard, run to the ball, does a lot of things schematically very well. Great defensive back group, you know, think plays hard. Like I said, runs to the ball and the D line pursue to the ball. They big, fast, can make a lot of plays, and that's gonna be key for them.
Corey, what do you see?
I see a pretty good front seven. They got some size up front for sure. Some bigger athletic guys. A real talented group. I'm excited to play the game though, but definitely a good group up front.
Omega, you probably didn't see the block on game day, but Corey's pancake down the field on that second snap. When you saw it on tape, what'd you think of that play?
Oh man, it reminded me of Blindside, when Big Mike, he got yelled at that one time, and in that game when he got it together, he pulled and ran out and made that heck of a block. It reminded me of that play. So, he works his tail off every day. So it's not surprising to me. And, just seeing that and him showing that athletic ability to go out and make that blocking space on the DB. It's amazing, man.
Corey, I don't know if your read takes you that deep, but I mean that was 17 yards downfield. What was going through your mind on that play?
Yeah, nah, it was crazy for sure. We was working that play all week, so I've been really just waiting on it. And then when Coach Petrino called it, they gave us the exact look that we worked in practice. And I remember just pulling around the edge and just getting past the second level, and seeing the safety. And I thought he was gonna try to juke me or like really cut underneath. And I seen he was coming at me head up, and I was like, I got to make him pay. And I just tried to run through him. And that was all I was thinking is run through him.
You guys are averaging more than 50 points a game through 2 games. Corey, what do you think's fed into that?
I would say our camaraderie on the offense and just like the way we practice. I feel like we really attack every single day. We all juice each other up throughout practice, make sure everybody's on the same page, everybody's giving all they have. And it's truly the expectation. Coach Petrino tells us, like, we should be scoring every time we touch it. And we try to practice with that same exact mentality.
Omega, any thoughts along those lines?
Yeah, just piggyback off what he said. Like I said, we attack practice every day. You know, as the receivers, as soon as we catch it, tuck it, finish, burst, go scope, so we can get used to that. O-line, they, making those type plays that you seen Corey made in the game, they making those at practice. So, it's just treating it like a game, full everything full speed, and when it's a walkthrough, still full speed, so it'll show up on the tape on Saturdays.
Omega, how is your start compared to maybe what you felt like what you would produce through a couple of games?
It ain't surprising to me. It might be surprising to the outsiders, but like I put the work in and day out, not just me, but our whole offense collectively. Like I said, as soon as I catch it, I finish, go extra hard, run every route like it's my last. So it ain't really surprising me, as I said. It just hitting the light on Saturdays, but it's something that I continuously do every day at practice.
Last thing I got, the governor has said she'd like to see Arkansas State play every year. How lit was that game for you guys? What'd you think of the atmosphere and just going down and playing, Corey?
I'll say the game was fun. The stadium it was packed, so it definitely gave us like a lot of energy. And speaking of Arkansas State, like we'll be ready to play anybody. So the opponent really doesn't matter.
Omega?
Yes, man, that's a great atmosphere over there down there in Little Rock. It's a heck of a stadium. It was for sure one of the loudest stadiums I played in and been a part of. The crowd was like more in tune to it. And a lot of more faces was able to come see us play throughout the state. So, that was a good part. But overall, I think they should keep that going. I think it's a great thing for the state to do.
Thanks.
Ray, go ahead.
Yeah, Corey, I was wondering, is it benefited you guys to see a heavy blitz team in Alabama A&M and then a team that didn't blitz as much in Arkansas State? And also, do you see carryover with some of the things Arkansas State does schematically and what Ole Miss will do.
Yeah, for sure. Alabama A&M, they definitely gave us a lot of really good, like just blitz looks, a lot of different looks, especially like on the interior. And then looking at Arkansas State, a lot of the movement that they do up front is pretty similar to Ole Miss, so it kind of gave us like a small taste of it like a week early. So I think it'll definitely be beneficial, and just like looking back at the film and seeing kind of where we went wrong, where we did well, so we can make sure that we can be real clean for this week.
And for both of you guys, you had a home game, you had another home game that where you had to travel for, and this one is a true road game in the SEC. What has the vibe been like around the football facilities and with coaches and stuff talking to you about taking it on the road for this game for the first time?
Um, High energy, we attack and practice every day. Handling the crowd noise every day at practice very well. So, once it comes Saturday, it won't be shocking to us or anything new. Just proud of the guys, the way we come into work and attack and practice, knowing that we got this, great opponent to face on Saturday. So, like I said, just showing up and, doing what's right throughout practice, throughout the week, so it can show up on tape on Saturday.
And Omega, what have you seen from the secondary with Ole Miss, personnel wise? Anybody jump out to you?
All those guys, they good. Very physical. Like I said, I know there's areas I gotta step my game up just because we're going into SEC play. But no disrespect to they guys, it ain't been nothing too crazy that stood out to me, but like I said, they have a great group. Some guys got great fundamentals, can get in and out of breaks. Like I said, they do a lot of things schematically that makes them great. I say they trench game, save the DBs out a lot. So that'll just probably be it, the main thing for
Did
them.
you ever? Did you? I should have looked, but did you face Ole Miss at all when you were at South Carolina?
Oh, sir, I didn't.
First time. Okay. All right. Appreciate it, guys.
Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, Omega, for you. I mean, any particular goals for you this year in SEC play? Kind of your second time through it.
Just like I said, mentioned in one of the interviews before, just put together the bad and the good I did, and just execute from that, and just showing up to practice and practicing hard, man. Like I said, it'll show on Saturday if you does those things throughout practice throughout the week. So it's pretty much it.
Yeah, and what do you remember about that third and final year at South Carolina? I think you were with Spencer and Sellers.
Yeah, man. Like I said, just things I picked up there because I was kind of young, but seen a lot of ball and played a lot of ball. Just watching first rounders, practicing how they go about their business throughout practice. So that really carried over to me, and seeing the production they was able to make and have on Saturdays just because they practice so hard throughout the week, carried over with me, and those are things that I'm doing now to make myself great so I can showcase my talent and make plays on Saturdays.
Yeah, and then you've also been Talen's favorite target. I mean, how much do you think that connection has been growing through two games? Kind of how and why?
Just putting in the extra work with Taylor, meeting with him, watching extra film, staying out to practice, running extra routes. We do that every day, just so we can be on the same page. And, shout out to our O-line, they playing they tails off, so, it gives Taylor time to think and just to move around and be able to make those decisions with the ball. And shout out to my receiver corps, man. They come in and work they tails off too as well. Shout out to Unc, man, prayers for him, for a speedy recovery. But yeah, man, he's like the dad in the room, puts us in check when, things aren't going as planned or, things aren't going our way, So just having guys like that and, just us building each other confidence up and, putting in the extra work, man, to make whatever it takes to happen on Saturdays for us to win, just coming together alone and just making those plays. It's awesome.
And then Corey, for you, I mean, you've talked about wanting to play in the SEC. Now it's only 3 to 4 days away. I mean, how you feeling now that it's the turn of the week?
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Like I've said, I believe the best football is played here in the SEC. I've been lucky, to be at Georgia Tech and get a few games playing SEC opponents. But you know, it's gonna be different to have that patch on your chest and rock out with these guys.
Coach Mateos was saying at the start of camp that the goal with getting you was to kind of get the best, pass blocking guy, and that they would develop the run game. And then you go and you have that big pancake the other day. I mean, how do you feel like you've developed that run game?
Yeah, for sure. I believe that it's definitely being developed. Definitely been a focus of mine as well. Throughout the off season, and getting to see plays like that show up, is big. But really, just trying to keep getting better every day. Mateo's coach, he shows me a lot of different ways to just continue to just excel more in the run game and just get better and work on small details that can help me out a lot. So it's been good.
And then the last one for me, something I asked the defensive guys is just with it now being the start of SEC play. I mean, how maybe does that bring about a change of intensity, focus, whatever that is in practices now?
Sure. SEC play now is big, but I try not to, raise or lower how I practice or how I compete based on the opponent. So I just try to attack every single day like I'm playing the biggest game of my life, really, that upcoming weekend.
Ethan, wrap it up.
Yeah, Corey, you mentioned about playing SEC teams before. It's a little bit of deja vu for you because a couple years ago, week 3, you played at Ole Miss. Just I know the teams are a lot different with the portal now, but what do you remember kind of about that environment going down there?
Yeah, it's a lot of energy. They're loud for sure, and they definitely feed off of their crowd a lot. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun playing there and against those guys. So I'm really looking forward to it one more time.
And then Omega, just Monte, you mentioned him going down with the injury, how that's, been hard to see, but how has he maybe handled, an injury like that different than, just having that professional background and kind of his involvement still with what y'all do?
Monte, not just speaking on Monte's behalf when it comes to this, but like all of us, man, all athletes go through adversity, at some point throughout their life. And I'm pretty sure, from what I know, Monte has already had, a few injuries early on in his career. So, he already been through adversity, but, just he understands, like, he comes in, he's not, it's not bothering him at all. He wants to be out there with us, but like I said, he's been through adversity. He's not no selfish guy. He's picking us up, lifting us up. It's like he's still out there. He's right there in our ear once we in indie drill or, team or whatever the case might be. So, like I said, Monte's good with handling adversity. He's been through it already. And, just a minus, it's just a setback, but he'll be back stronger than he left.
And he was right behind you, on the depth chart. They're able to give you some breathers, play some snaps. Who are some guys now that maybe could step up in that role? Just other guys on the team you think could maybe help y'all out, kind of where Monte was.
Um, it's time for Courtney Crutchfield, to come along. It's time for Ferd to come along. All those young guys, and it was like that before, Unc went down, you always got to have that mentality, but now we on them constantly every day, and putting that in their head that you up, your number can be called at any moment. So it's go time.